How you doing, D Hive?
I'm well. Yourself? How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. I had just finished up my little basketball thing, and before got off the basketball, they started talking about some boxing. So I had to cut the basketball on off. Get what I'm saying?
I do.
Just starting off my thing. I don't want to have something that says basketball discussion, and then people get up there and hear 45 minutes of boxing talk. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And me and Junebug Spade had was talking some real interesting stuff right before he had got before I had started over.
Okay.
In regards to some tweets that I had put out today. That's basically what the conversation was about. And it was about black fighters needing approval of the white audience. And also Twitter heads wanted the approval of certain white Twitter users. For example, about Jamel Charlo, how he is upset whenever, and rightfully so, his name is left off the pound for pound list. But he acts as if the only pound for pound list that he believes in is Ring Magazine or ESPN, and says nothing about all the black Twitter faces that have him in that top 10, top 5, or what have you. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. These things only have validation because people give them validation. Like I'm not sure Jamel Charlo has referenced Champ Side even once, and Champ Side has had him pound for pound since I think he had two belts, let alone all the belts.
Right.
So yeah, I think we need to get up off of that, and fighters need to stop measuring their value because like I always tell people whenever they talk about the pound for pound list, I'm like, bruh, Triple G was pound for pound number one for absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He had fought Jacobs and barely beat him only because the ref gave him a stupid knockdown in round one. Outside of that, he doesn't even beat Jacobs. So what are we doing?
Right.
So that's yeah. So I tell people to like the pound for pound list is all opinion at this point, especially because most people don't even know the origin of the pound for pound list. The pound for pound list was meant to measure all the other fighters against the baddest man on the planet, which is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
The fact that we now have heavyweights on it destroys the entire concept. We know the heavyweights gonna beat everybody ass because they big.
Right.
Yeah, like if
Yep.
Usyk, yeah, like if Usyk couldn't fuck with a middleweight, then like that would be embarrassing. We know that all the heavyweights will beat up everybody else because they're just bigger.
You're bigger and stronger, hit
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
and all those dynamics. Right.
right. And it defeats the purpose of pound for pound to have the heaviest people on the list. That's stupid.
Right. And also too, man, going back to him not even looking at the champ side, he don't look at any of them. Oh, the you came in through the Twitter or the one I sent you in the DM. I'm talking to you on DI.
Oh, I came in through the DM one.
Okay, all right. Let me send this because Junebug want to come back. He said it didn't work. It should work on this one.
No, like I don't even like whenever people talk about pound for pound list, I like some of them make sense, some of them don't. I don't really care,
I agree.
and not to mention there's no criteria because every time you ask someone to make a criteria for the pound for pound list, they don't have anything to tell you. They're just like, oh, well, I like these people. They've accomplished what? Like okay, Bivol beat Canelo because Canelo, Canelo is Canelo. He's limited. He's kind of small. Whatever. But
Mhm.
why is Bivol all of a sudden top 10 pound for pound off of that? Because Canelo's spot in and of itself was at question.
Right.
And then
Exactly.
they're gonna put better BF pound for pound based off smoking Joe Smith Jr. Like, what are we doing? What
Yeah,
are we talking about?
that shouldn't have happened. I think don't get me wrong. I do feel that Better Beef is underrated as far as his real skills. Like people don't realize that he really can fight. But level of opposition matters because we can think of you as God in that boxing ring, but if you beat 47 people that can't fight, hey, you know, DM it to him. Okay.
Right. It's just like we're seeing. It's just like we're seeing with fighters like Gabe Flores Jr. and Josue Vargas. I mean, it's unfortunate that they got exposed early, but the reality is, you put them in front of some trash, and they'll look good. But they didn't. Those two didn't even get step ups. They got like okay. Well, Josue Vargas got to step up, but Gabriel Flores got to step laterally, and he still lost. And actually, with Venado Lopez, he got to step down with this dude Cabrera that whooped his ass. And I'm like, Jesus. Like this man has the same number of knockouts as you, and you over here about to go to sleep. Like, I, I was just like, man, like I said, man, I was like, this man needs to enroll in community college immediately, because this boxing stuff is not going to work out. It's really not. Not to mention,
Absolutely.
yeah, not to mention they moved him up in weight and gave him an undefeated opponent after his last showing. What? Who manages him? Like
Hmm.
who? Honest to God, who manages him? Like what
Yeah.
are they doing?
And you know, man, you make you make a great point, D High, because so many times I get up here and I say these guys can't fight, and sometimes I be 99% of the time I mean it. Every once in a while I say it because I know y'all want to hear it. But let's be honest, man. A lot of these guys truly cannot fight. And the guys put them in because of popularity. Because of popularity, and also because it allows them to be able to be racist. You know what I'm saying? To intentionally be biased. But here's the thing, though. I'm like you. I don't care. How many arguments have you ever heard me get in about a Ring magazine pound for pound list? None.
Right.
Because I don't care. Let's see. I'm adding Junebug on. Hey, Mr. Junebug, how you
What's
doing,
going
man?
on? What's going on, man?
And the whole thing is owned by a cokehead, so you know I really don't care then. Like the whole magazine is owned by a cokehead. Like why?
Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, why are we? Who cares what Oscar is talking
I,
about?
I agree about that approval.
He over here talking about Ryan Garcia is the face of something. Man, if you don't sit down somewhere with him, ugh.
Also, D Hop, now that Junebug is on, I could touch on what we was talking about too, man. Also, without, you know, naming names, we may name some, but right now we're not. The validation that Black Twitter give to some of these white guys, and it ain't got nothing to do with giving somebody credit, because people deserve credit if they doing something that's great. But let's stop validating people and making them a story when they don't know nothing. And you already know where I'm going, Di, because you sent out a tweet agreeing with something that I said when I said that they act like this person is a guru. And these people that they be giving these praises to, they do nothing for them. They never retweet anything for anybody. They never come on platforms and try and support. They come up there with their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? When I come on to someone else platform, I'm their guest. You know what I'm saying? So I'm respectful of that. I don't try to act like I run something and I want certain people on. I say, well, Junebug, Diab, I want y'all. I'll come up there, but these four people can't be up there. No, that ain't how you do. You know, and it's just crazy to me that people give, you know, validation to people that don't even know the sport. But go ahead, man.
My thing is real quick before Junebug goes. My thing is they'll say, like, for people like, let's for example, people like me and Art, man, the Black Twitter people you're talking about, they'll tell us to watch our mouth or don't say anything we shouldn't say in public.
Absolutely.
But that little boy be talking more shit than a little bit, and they never tell him that he should be careful in public. Why? Because he's a teenager, man. Fuck that. We see on the news what little teenagers are capable of. They kill people every single day.
Especially that look like us.
Exactly.
And look like him, that dude.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yes, and every day.
And because of people like Junebug and because of people like Julius, I often say that age is no guarantee of wisdom. There's a big ass difference. You can be old and still be talking dumb shit. Now,
See it every day.
Exactly, and I just get so frustrated. Well, they'll try to get on my ass. They'll try to get on Art Man ass, or even Julius sometimes. But then that little boy, they let say whatever is on his mind, disrespect everyone, and just don't say anything to him.
Nothing.
I'm just like if you're gonna try to be somebody's daddy, try to be everybody's daddy. Don't come at me because my dad is actively in my life. Don't come at me. Just like do it to everybody or shut the hell up. That shit is aggravating as hell.
Well, a lot of that got to do with, man, it's everybody want to claim they real or this here and stuff like that. But you have a lot of people that us three on this panel, like I said, I don't know how D-Hive look, but us three on this panel, they'll do something to us three. But somebody like that young fella there, oh no, that's the Holy Grail. Don't touch him, you know what I'm saying? I do something to you, but don't do nothing to him. And also they'll look at you got a channel, you doing good, you speaking positive about your black people and things like that.
Hello, brother Art Man. All right, go ahead, Junebug.
And but that fella there, they'll feel he's the plug. He can get me somewhere. If I like his stuff and agree with him and say chill out there, he can get me some places because he got a lot of people supporting him.
Hold on one second, Junebug. Hold on one second. Art Man, what's up, brother?
Oh, my bad. I forgot to turn my mic off.
Yeah. How you doing, man? All right. Hey, I just wanted to acknowledge it, and I'm going to go ahead and let the brother Junebug keep speaking. Go ahead, Junebug.
But yeah, so, and a lot of them see him and see a lot of, man, to the point where, man, they don't see success in people that look like them. They see success in people that look something different. Even as a person with a lot of youth that looks like him, they'll look at him and see success. To them, his channel is already more valuable than anybody else's channel.
Absolutely.
Like that. And his opinion matters and things like that because he's sitting on a beach with glasses or sitting like he at this fight here and things like that. And to him, that's success. He made it. So it gets sickening to me, man, because of like D-Hive said, you have some folks that say, now he can be very disrespectful and say something about a black fighter and things like that, or bring up any incident dealing with a black fighter and won't bring up none of the things that,
on a personal level of other fighters, right?
Another level. And if you try to check them on it or stuff like that, you have people that, and sometimes it be your own people. Hey, why are you talking to that brother? Why are you
all the time
talking to him like that? Don't talk to him like that. He's 16. Well, if you punch him in the face, are you gonna say don't hit him back because he's 16? So it's really, honestly, man, kind of disgusting, and I hate it. But it seems like it's gonna get worse and worse as things go because you honestly don't have too many stand-up people, and when you do have people that takes up for their own, they get whipped real fast. They get whipped real fast. So that's all I got to say. And I'll let Art Man go.
Art Man, let me touch on what we talking about, brother. We talking about you up here, Art?
I'm here.
Okay, all right. Now we're talking about a tweet that went out today that unfortunately you was a part of it, and someone was speaking as if a young guy was some guru or an avant or something. This, like the boxing hell to know everything. And I was just saying how a lot of times our platforms, and I'm talking about the black platforms.
What post are you talking about? I don't recall.
Let me go back. Let me send you. You got your DMs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on a little 11-hour ban because I called somebody a raccoon.
A raccoon.
Yeah, I used a raccoon emoji, and they really gave me a
Really? But you can check your DM though.
Uh-huh.
All right, okay. Hold
And
up. Yeah, go ahead, Jumbo.
it's funny because that same person, if you go back, he picked the fight that we talked about this weekend. Was it a Dog Bay and
Uh huh.
Ferguson?
Yeah.
He picked
Oh.
whatchamacallit to lose, right?
hmm
He gave a play-by-play analysis of whatchamacallit to lose.
And said Joette was going to win a clear unanimous decision.
And when Joette won, he came back and said, "Man, they took the fight from Joette. That's crazy," and stuff like that. And when he said that, all I could think about is Julius. That's them, like you say, them race soldiers. Honestly,
Them soldiers. Because, hold on, Junebug. He didn't just say that. He also said this, Art Man. He said, Gonzalez didn't, I didn't pick wrong. They just took it away from Gonzalez. I was right. And I'm just like, wow. Because I saw Dogbe taking the fight to this guy. Dogbe won more rounds and he was more dominant. He just got tired in between rounds, which allowed Gonzalez to come on. But it was a clear win for Dogbe.
But my thing
I ain't gonna
is,
lie to y'all, brothers. I fell asleep on that fight.
I feel you.
yeah,
I feel you. I'm not upset. It wasn't no great fight. It was a decent fight that Dogbe won. Go ahead, D-High.
my thing is, why are we acting like Joet Gonzalez is somebody to really be defending out here? I mean, he ain't shit. In the grand scheme of
Absolutely.
things.
He
Neither-
known for getting stomped out.
Yeah, neither one of them is shit. I mean, at least Dogbe held a belt for a little bit though,
Absolutely.
And
Made some defenses.
and had a decent showing. Not to mention, we got to talk about the improvements he's made under Barry Hunter.
Hey, man, do I not talk about that trainer situation all the time?
Yeah, so,
Trainers make a difference.
yeah, and
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That's just funny as hell. Like, y'all can't let that guy get y'all worked up, though. I ain't
No. It's not that guy. It's the Twitter people. It's not that guy. It's our people got to support us. And the reason that we're talking about it, or at least I'm talking about it on this platform, is because, brother, I think in the next week or so, we're going to get the announcement of Earl Spence and Bud Crawford.
oh god,
And that's my opinion. I think it's going to happen.
It sounded like Eddie Hearn.
No, I think it. Look, the reason that I say this, man, is because everything points to something happening. Why all of a sudden? I just want to ask y'all this question.
and I got
Maybe it's a coincidence, right? How did Derek James? I don't know nothing about Derek James' personal life. Was posting pictures of a vacation. Steven Espinoza posting pictures of a vacation. Earl Spence posting pictures of just regular life. Like, what? Where did all this come from? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it ain't.
I know.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get an announcement very soon.
It's funny you said that.
But-
Right before I joined your show, I saw another YouTuber, right? Boxing.
Uh-huh.
You got to take what he say with a grain of salt too, because he's a big Earl Spence hater. I honestly think like Earl slept with this dude old lady in high school.
Wow, he that bad?
Man, he that bad. But he said on his channel, maybe about like 30, 40 minutes before you got on at 1st
Mm-hmm.
about Al and them lowballing Crawford was something similar to 80-20.
How he know?
He claimed I said the same thing, you know.
and who
He
gives
always-
a shit?
Right.
Yeah.
Like he gonna change the hold on. Let me get Al on the phone. Al, you know he deserved 55 40. Come on, man, please.
Yeah. But like I said, you take what he said with a grain of salt because he's a big man. I'm talking about he's one of them dudes that wears it. I stopped talking about that fight or talking about that with him because you can tell it ain't even it's okay if Bud's gonna win. I'm cool with it if you like Bud. If you think Bud's gonna win, we're gonna talk boxing. Tell me why you think Bud's gonna win. Bud's a good finisher. Bud is good with both hands and things like that. And I accept that, your ability. But when
Right.
you start talking about, man, Earl a drunk man, or Earl be kissing yellow bees and stuff like that. That's what I'm like. I'm like, bro, come
Oh
on,
man,
dog.
man, that sounds like somebody I know.
I'm gonna keep it
Yeah.
100.
Uh-huh.
I don't. Sometimes I don't even like talking about Errol Spence versus Bud, even though
What-
sometimes I post here and there because
What?
when I start
Yeah,
posting,
hold on, Art man. Well, let me explain real fast why I said that. I didn't say it for the sense of anything other than to say this. The only reason I'm coming out is because if this fight is made, we're gonna have race soldiers coming up out of the woodwork, and they're gonna be putting out, oh, Earl Spence a drunk. Oh, Terrence Crawford got shot in the head. I already heard him say that. Trust me, if Terrence Crawford got shot in the head, we wouldn't be talking about Terrence Crawford fighting on Saturday.
No, I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna say, Junior.
You know, I'm just sick of that. And this guy is the master of propaganda. And then you got not YouTubers, but yeah, YouTubers or Twitter heads that protect this person, and you can't say anything. So that's the only reason I said anything about Crawford and Spence, because this ain't a Crawford and Spence discussion. But I'm just saying that's why I said it. Now go ahead, Art man.
No, I'm gonna tell you one thing for Art Man Go. I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna say, and they already saying it because this person is already saying it. They're gonna try. Those race soldiers are gonna try to diminish their fight by saying Canelo Triple G is really the bigger fight. That's the fight that everybody should be talking about.
Yep. Yep.
okay, but my thing was with the Bud versus Errol stuff.
Uh-huh.
I like talking about it when it comes to like a little friendly competition.
Right.
Like when you guys start talking about like, oh, Errol Spence
Lit.
kissing on Yellow Bees. Look at him enjoying that nice night out with his wife. That's weakness. Like I don't like that shit. And y'all they start acting like like you banging or something. Like, oh, you Team Spence, I can't mess with you.
These guys crazy, man.
Around here. I'm like, dude, this is just boxing when it comes to these brothers, man. We all winning at the end of the day. Y'all can't make this seem like some Tupac Biggie shit.
Yep. And that's exactly what people are trying to turn it into. And that's why a guy like me is gonna start checking. I already done started checking people and checking them on, up there. Even when Bread Man was saying something, I went on his platform and shot my opinion on it. Because again, man, I don't want to see anyone try to take the luster off this fight with they stupid opinions, because I'm gonna be honest, man, and Junebug can say this, somebody that was, grown around the Biggie and Tupac situation, man. If the media and guys like the young guy on the beach, if they had stayed out of that and let us black folks have our own stars per se, them brothers would still be alive today. They would not be dead right now. And if they did die, it would have been years later. We would have been able to enjoy them brothers. So that's why it's so important for us to not let these things go on, because brother, I'm telling you, man, the media life takes on a life of its own. And people throwing crap in, next thing you know, it'll catch on, and then everybody's saying it.
That's the funny.
But my thing is, I don't value their opinion though. That's the thing. Like when it comes to like just anything, when it comes to Grammys, sports nominations, all that, I don't value these people's opinions. So I don't even know why we even giving that shit light.
Well, that's the great thing that you say that, because that's what we started off. D-Hive answered the first question. The first thing that we said is that we don't need the approval, and we use Jermell Charlo as the blueprint, because this guy goes crazy every time his name is not listed pound for pound list by ESPN or Ring Magazine. And that's what we said is, why does Jermell Charlo give these people opinion so much life? And D-Hive broke it down perfectly. You missed it. D-Hop broke it down perfectly about, you know what I'm saying, about giving these guys approval and and discipline and things of that nature. Yeah, and we agree. And he said Champ's side had him on his pound for pound list. But see, again, we come into this thing and Junebug and Art Man, I hear Art Man say it, they ice is colder.
Yeah.
And that's what's so nutty. That's what's so nutty about the whole situation because the Black Crawford fans will let the non-Black Crawford fans gas them up, and they start talking crazy like they really about to slide on somebody on behalf of Terrence Crawford. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love Terrence Crawford as much as the next man, but I'm like, you do realize this nigga would like he wouldn't even bail you out of jail, right? Like he doesn't even know you exist.
Somebody told me on Twitter, "Oh, you over here pretending to be gangster and you in Minnesota." Based just off a conversation about Bud versus Arrow. I'm like, what? How did we even get here? What are we talking about here?
And even
they say you think you're a gangster because you from Minnesota,
not understanding that Minnesota has a very large Black population. But anyway,
bro, I don't even want to talk about what the fuck should be going on. But Julius, we already had a conversation yesterday.
It gets crazy about that conversation.
It gets crazy over here. Don't get it twisted, man. But that shit don't even have to be involved when we're talking Errol Spence versus Bud. That's right. Hang on each other. So what you gonna pull up on the fight?
But believe it or not, it's gonna. You know what? It's so crazy that it's so weak mentally, man. That honestly, if that fight gets announced, I wouldn't be surprised. Just somewhere in the world, how many fights are almost come to blows is gonna happen because of that. Instead of just saying, okay, you feel like he's gonna win, I feel like he's gonna win. All right, we'll see when the fight happens.
If it's a close fight, somebody fighting in the stadium.
Oh, no, that's gonna happen regardless.
Well, we done seen that, and I done seen that in close fights and blowouts. The biggest fight that I seen was in the Mayweather Ricky Hatton. You know what I'm saying? Like those British fans, they were fighting, they were crying, everything when Ricky Hatton lost. Like people think that English thing is new about their fans going hard. They were crying back then. That was 07. But I'm going to add something on to what y'all talking about. And that is something that Junebug just said, the weak-minded people. Well, during the 90s and early 2000s, it was a debate on whether Allen Iverson was better than Gary Payton. Okay?
I remember that.
And the reason I bring that up is a brother killed another brother about that conversation turned into an argument, and the guy killed the guy because that guy said Allen Iverson was better than Gary Payton. So let's not dismiss, and that's another thing that I say, man, and Art, man, it's not me validating what people say. It's just absolute fact. Like your guy, Tariq Nasheed, right? Rashid. He'll repost or retweet what one of those race soldiers say about him, not because he putting validation, but because sometimes you need to stomp that out and make it look stupid right in the beginning. Don't let things get life, because here's the thing. A lot of times, especially with the Biggie and Tupac, someone that didn't know nothing would say something, but then someone that was more instrumental and bigger would pick it up, like the New York Times. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, when Spence and Crawford get involved, when this fight happens, it's not just going to be, the Ring Magazine or J Street Sports or Art Man Boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be people and entities that never been into sports. And they're going to talk about everything except the boxing match because they don't know boxing.
Right. They gonna bring up photos of Spence baby pictures and shit. Talking about
man, they already doing it, man. Listen, man, and I'm trying not to, because this Julius show. I've been wanting to start me a channel, and I'm thinking about doing it.
Start it up, brother.
But man, one dude, man, you think I'm lying? Y'all, when I say this, y'all may know who I'm talking about. Like I said, this Julius show, so I don't want to say name. Don't y'all know? One dude actually, bro, the same dude I'm talking about, brought Spence baby mama on his show to try to get him to talk, try to get her to talk about Spence.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Oh
bullshit.
yeah, that's
Y'all can say a name. You're allowed to say a name because I honestly don't know who it is.
I don't know who her name either, but who cares what that bitch talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about the person that had the site
Oh, I don't know his name
that
either.
did that.
Good fella. He brought the main baby mama. Listen, it was so fun, and I told him this is why I stopped dealing. Because, like I say, I don't mind.
I tweet this fella sometimes. He did that.
Yeah, listen. So this is what he did, and she played him right because you got to understand and see. Me and D,
Wow.
we hadn't spoke. Me and D hadn't spoken in a while after our conversation about Boots Ennis. I hadn't forgot D but I tweet. I said you got played, brother, because this is what he did. He brought her on the show thinking that she made a post about he's not with his daughters, but what it was, you can tell as a man that has dealt with baby mama's drama. She's hate. He got a new beautiful baby mama, and
Right.
he's doing good. So you could tell she was hate. He
Right.
brought her on the show thinking that she was gonna trash and try to say weak stuff about him. This is what she did. She got on the show and say, "I want y'all to hear my new song." She sung like 15 seconds of the new song and say, "That's it, I'm gone," and used him for just like clickbait and got out of there. He was
Wow.
It was hilarious. And I
Are
said,
you
man, now
serious?
Wow.
go look it
I
up.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, if he had took it up, I said, man, now you see how you played yourself. She found a sucker and she licked it. You look how you played yourself, brother.
But this happened before our Boots conversation, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I'm messing with you because I remember the Boost conversation. That's all it is, brother.
Hey,
That's all
that
about the
is
game.
wild that what you just said, man.
I'm telling you.
Why would she try to piss off where her bread is buttered? You know she don't work.
But here's
That's
the thing.
nuts.
Sometimes if you're not mentally strong, y'all, man, and things like that, man, you got to understand how some win. They say ain't nothing like a woman scorn. And that's all you can tell. And that's all it was, man, that this man is doing good, man. You sometimes, let me tell you something, when you mention boxing, it's like 4 or 5 boxers that you cannot mention. When you mention boxing, you got to mention their name. At one point, that was Deontay Wilder. That's Canelo Alvarez. Who else you want to say? And probably Earl Spence. When you mention boxing, that's who comes to name by those 4 or 5 names.
Right.
So this man is doing good for himself. And the fact that he don't want her, because I don't know if he's stunned or not, but every post I've seen him with, those 2 little girls have always been with him. You can't, he's not going to post 2 posts without those 2 little girls around.
In the gym, especially. Yeah.
So I think it was a thing where she was kind of hating and stuff like that. And this around the time, this was like a 3 months after his little boy was born. So she may feel guilty about that too now. And he tried to use that as an advantage to bring her on the show, thinking she's going to trash him. And, man, she got there and played him like a sucker, man. She sung like 10 seconds of her song. I was like, I'm out. And I thought that was sad. And I was like, man, that made you look weak, man. You should want to cancel your YouTube channel, man, after getting stooping that low, bro. For real.
But, like, what was she going to unearth? What was she going to say? Oh,
here's the thing.
One time we got into an argument? Like, what's she going to say?
Here's the thing. This is a dude. It's not about Crawford. Like I say, some people on that end, it's not that they like Crawford. They just hate Earl. And he's one of them people. I don't think he like Bud like that. I think he just hate Earl. I'm telling you, I feel like some of these dudes, especially him, it feels like Earl reminds them of that dude that took that girl in the 10th grade. or something like that. That's what it seems like.
Earl reminded them of the dude that was popular in high school that they wanted to be, but they couldn't be.
That's what I'm saying. And
Bud reminded them of the grimy dude that was just out here in double basketball shorts.
And that's funny. Hey, but you know, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. And this is real talk. I was listening to a Method Man give an interview, and this is recent. I'm not talking 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm talking now. And he was speaking about himself when he was young, and he talked about how insecure and how low self-esteem that he had. But I would have never put that 2 and 2 together because I saw how Method Man acted, and you know what I'm saying, and rap. So and this has got something to do with the fight and leading up to the fight and everything, man. Like, we don't know the demons that these guys got. You get what I'm saying? We really don't know. So we saying it in a joking way, Art, but you could be 100% right. He could remind him of somebody
I
that
think he does.
that you know what I'm saying, that was more popular. Because here's the thing: if you look at the Bud Crawford story, Bud Crawford is a guy that feeds off of past shortcomings. He talked about how he felt cheated on his way up trying to get to the Olympics. He failed. He felt cheated. He felt low rated because none of the big promoters really wanted him, and he had to sign with Cameron Duncan. So his whole thing has been how he feed off of shortcomings and things that didn't happen good for him.
Well, everybody know that Bud is an insecure bully. This is something that he said about himself. He said he's an angry person. He bullied people in school because he was unhappy about his own circumstances. This is something this is information that he himself or through Top Rank Promotion has been divulged.
Yes.
I'm not making that up for anybody.
No, he did do that.
And that's the reality of the situation. Whereas Earl Spence didn't have that. He was someone who, was in slightly better circumstances, was always in boxing, a little
kind of like the golden boy, the pretty boy, the little golden boy,
little pretty boy that had like a car in high school before everybody else and stuff like that. And they hate him for it, and it's creepy. It really is.
Mom and dad are still together.
And he got the black fan base. And listen, man, now this is something that is a long time ago, okay? This is a long time ago, but it's kind of relevant to what we're talking about. When Ali and Frazier fought, Ali was a little bit, all right, I didn't get a chance to tell Art Man take care. But anyway, when Ali and Frazier fought, right? Frazier was a little bit jealous because he looked at it like this. He even said this, and this documented. He said, I'm the one with the black trainer. He said, I'm the one that been with one woman my whole life. I'm the one with a black attorney. You get what I'm saying? These were all the things he was saying, but he was like, but the people still for this guy. They're still for Ali, but yet I'm the one, he the one taught the black talk with the Nation of Islam, but I'm the one living the black talk. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, look, man, this boxing dynamic is something, man. And I believe that those demons that y'all are talking about, because that's what I call it. I call it demons. I believe that them demons come out in the middle of the boxing ring.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, and with this specific situation, that makes sense. But in this specific situation, Terrence Crawford at no point has done any of the work to get the black fans on his side. Every time there's a critical issue, he's quiet. He toed the company line back when he was at Top Rank. And even recently, he said that UK fans are the best fans.
He did say that.
And I find it hilarious how Bud fans are still over here on his nuts. I'm like, bro, even Bud doesn't like y'all.
I mentioned that.
He did say that.
I mentioned that too. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that to that dude, and he was like, I don't care about that. It's not about that. It's still Earl's a bitch. Earl's this. And I say, hold up now. This ain't got nothing. Why are you bringing Earl in it? I'm saying, why are you riding for it? And I'm not telling you like who you like. But the point is, man, how can you try to demean this one man right here that's always ripping for people? You'll get him to come on your show and try to produce your platform before Bud will. How can you act like this dude? Even if you think Bud is going to win that fight, be in a situation where you was like, I rock with him, because I actually rock with him both. If I ain't rooting for Earl, I am rooting for Bud, because let's not get it twisted. Bud's a hell of a fighter. Bud ain't no walk in the park now. So,
right.
Because I think I even told D-Hive, what I told you, D-Hive, if Bud and your boy Boost fight now, I got Bud. so I can't be a Bud hater. But I'm saying, man, the way that y'all are talking about these dudes, man, especially Earl, man, this don't make any sense. This ain't boxing talk, like you say. This demon talk, man. It's something else going on besides that, man.
These dudes sound like they in love, to be quite honest.
That's what I say. Look, it's funny. It's funny.
Right. Look, that's true, though.
Run it, boy, blocked me because I told him that. I say, man, you know what it is? I honestly think you're in love with that man. You riding that man harder than his girlfriend is, and he blocked me
Dude,
for that.
I even asked him.
Shout out to Ronnie Boy Fresh, man.
I even asked him.
Uh-huh.
I even asked him. I was like, "Has Bud ever publicly acknowledged you? Like ever? Like has he liked or retweeted anything you fucking said for years?" I'm like, bro, you be right under every post. I'm like, has he ever acknowledged you whatsoever? Like, oh yeah, this is a good post, or
Well,
maybe
what did you say?
liked or retweet. He never got back to me. I don't know, but
God,
yeah,
That's what I say, man.
yeah, you funny, man.
No, for real, he's not lying. I'm telling you.
I
Everybody
got you. Hey, look,
I-
man. I see the amount of Bud love that's out there, man. God knows Ronnie Boy Fresh is Bud. They might as well call him Ronnie Bud because
Ronnie Crawford.
yeah, Ronnie Crawford because he loved. Now I ain't never seen. I'm being honest. He got to be if he ain't the biggest fan out, he probably a bigger fan than his children are. And I mean that, man.
And that's why I told Nika when she said she was trying to do the verses, and she said she couldn't find that many Bud fans. I say, man, how can you
Get
not
him.
find Bud fans?
He'll debate everybody.
I say, yeah. And I say, how you can't find Bud fans? Because unless I know I'm not following everybody on Twitter that's into boxing. But my whole timeline, man, honestly, if it's not Beehive's Earl fan, I think I can name maybe like 3 or 4 more guys that are Earl fans. Everybody else, man, Bud finna murder him. Bud finna make him wish he was in another car accident, man. Bud finna seriously. And I'm
Oh
like,
man, these people
man.
sick, man.
And
They
I'm
sick
like,
with it.
man, it's crazy.
it's just
Crazy.
hard. It's just hard because a lot of people, first of all, if you go by boxing Twitter standards, Terrence Crawford's sales should be through the roof, but they're not. So there's a lot of phony ass Bud fans. Second off, a lot of people are afraid to support Bud because Bud's fan representation is terrible. A lot of people don't want to be thrown in with the psychopath because the thing is, when you have a Bud fan, that usually extrapolates to bad opinions on a lot of other stuff. They say dumb shit about a lot of other stuff, and it's creepy. Like they hate on Tank for all types of weird reasons when he's not involved. They say, oh, Devin Haney can't fight either. Wilder's also trash. So it's a lot of weird shit that it extrapolates to, and a lot of people, especially black boxing fans, don't want to be associated with the nonsense. So they let them be over there and just kind of quietly pick Bud. Or if they pick Bud, they're a little ashamed of it almost because they don't want to be related to a psychopath.
But
And you know, man, I'm gonna say this too, man. And this is why it's real hard, and y'all never really see me in any Twitter beefs and things because honestly, you really can't talk to people. Like, man, some of the people, they get into why they like this guy, that guy, and they won't let you talk. They'll start screaming. They'll start talking about murdering your children, murdering you, all about this boxing thing, man. It's real difficult to talk to guys like that. So I understand what you're saying, D-Hive, when you say that a lot of guys might want to root for Bud, but they don't want to be associated with that fan base. And I feel you on that. And here's the crazy part. And I always say this to people. I said, man, I'm a Bud Crawford fan, but Bud, like you said, D-Hive, he doesn't acknowledge y'all fandom like that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? He acknowledge his Omaha people. He'll say that. He enjoy that, but he rather be hated. He don't want no love.
And the
Because
worst,
he got that chip on his shoulder. He don't want no love.
and the
if
worst
you
part
look at-
is, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna say this, and if you look at it, and I'm not trying to necessarily call him this because he's a black man. I love that he's in his kid's life. And
Yeah.
he's putting into
Good
his
father.
kids. I saw, yeah, exactly. I saw his daughter racing and come back after. So trust me, I see all that, and I support him. But if you want to honestly look at it, the way he said about UK fans, his signature back with Top Rank and everything, he would be the ones that is a black. If you want to be so pro black and round black, he would be one of the boxers that you would almost call a sellout because, like you said, he don't acknowledge his fans, which are predominantly black.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, you can tell he don't want to sign with PBC, which I don't know why. Because if you think about it, he's on the back end of his career. He's not gonna move up to no more than 54. PBC has all your 47 and 54 fights, so
And paying the most money.
and paying the most money. So he would be one of the ones that you would consider. Hey man, even though you're black and you're one of the blackest of black people, and you don't even want, to sell out. And but I'm gonna let you go now, D Hive. I just wanted to say that.
Oh no, that's fine. Because also he was over there running his mouth about fighting Charlo Jr. And I'm like, him and Spence are under the same dude, right? So you might as well, do one before the other. But what I was gonna say is a lot of us, like people that Spence fans, came out and were trying to defend Bud by saying Bob Arum is a racist to end all that damn duck talk. And then Bud is the one that said we just don't know Bob Hart. We should be quiet. Then he turned around and sued him, and then didn't even give us our respect. He didn't even say
all of them are racist, right?
yeah, he didn't even say that he was wrong. He just, oh well, now I'm suing, and I was like, nah, bro, you were wrong. Everyone was saying Spence was ducking, and it sounded sweet. You like them blowing your head up and shit, and then it turns out that you were wrong.
And then he acknowledged, without acknowledging the fans, but he said that Bob in the lawsuit that Bob Arum was the number one sole reason why the fight didn't get made. That's in the lawsuit. And I hear people trying to not debate it, but argue that point that ain't what he meant. Like it says that, but it don't mean that. Because last time I checked, without being in law, when something is written in law, that's what it means.
And then
You know what I'm saying?
And then Bud fans rather him lose the lawsuit than come to the reality that Spence wasn't ducking. Not to mention what's even worse about the situation is that Spence, like people don't like to hear it, but Spence has plenty of options. Spence doesn't really have to fight Crawford at this point. He can make the same bread. He can fight Thurman. He can fight Boots. He can fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. He can fight Charlo. He can fight all these people. Bud is the one that needs to fight. And even after another career-ending injury that ended the career of Abner Mares, even after that, at his worst, basically, after a Ugas fight, he's choosing Bud still at one of his most vulnerable moments. So if that doesn't put an end to the ducking, then the lawsuit should.
And that's what I try to tell people, because of somebody that was in law, I was trying to tell them that some of the same people tried to. That's not what he's suing Bud for. I mean, for being a racist. He's suing for a breach of contract because he owed him one more fight. And I tried to tell the same people, listen to what you're saying. That doesn't make sense, because if he owed him a top rank owed him one more fight, that means he's not free to him. Because if that contract say he's owed one more fight, he
got to fight.
He's not free then, so that's not what that lawsuit is about. That doesn't make sense. That lawsuit is about, based on what he's saying, is he didn't get the opportunities because he was a black person, and that Bob didn't represent him right. And then he backpedaled. Earl has never said that fight's behind me or that fight's not gonna happen. He have said that and backpedaled again and say, I've talked to Earl. I don't think Earl's ducking and things like that. But those same fans don't want to acknowledge that he said. But they acknowledge when he was in that pool, that water splashing. Where you at? Where you at, big fish? But you want to acknowledge when he said the man's not ducking. Saying
and what's nuts to me is they're trying to steer him away from Heyman for whatever reason. Bud Crawford been crying about Pacquiao for the better part of a decade. Spence got this shit and wasn't even really asking for it, but once. Who making shit happen and who not?
And the crazy part about it was that Manny Pacquiao, everybody knows, a legend in the game, right? And Manny Pacquiao, no dollar. Manny Pacquiao needs money. So if Manny Pacquiao say, hey, I'm going to make more money with Earl Spence than Terence Crawford, you ain't going to believe Manny Pacquiao? You going to ignore that?
Manny Pacquiao going to fight either one. Whoever going to bring the most bread in that situation. Also, too, man, I want to go back and I'm going to clean up and finish that conversation. D-Hive, this is something that I didn't say while you was up here, but I'm going to say since you up here. And what the initial thing was about the young man and the tweets. And I'm going to say this. When we was on a show, Art Man show, D-Hive, I was told that this guy only wanted He didn't want nobody to even conversate back and forth with him. Bro, let me tell you something. Art Man is my man. And he gave me opportunities to talk when a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? He was one of the first ones on Twitter. I just went on and talked on his platform, and I like it. But bro, you weren't on no CNN podcast. Like, who are you to start making demands on who can ask questions and stuff like that? When that thing happened, bro, I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, Di. That blew my mind to how privileged people
There you go.
is. Because, bro, let's say 100 or 200 people heard it, right? So you're gonna demand, in order for you to bring your presence on a show, that 2 people can't ask questions and this and that. Like, that thing is crazy, man. That's crazy.
And it was funny because there was one time where I said I was going to be on the show, but I was late. And he was up there and he was talking about Triple G versus Murata, trying to say Triple G wasn't ducking Charlo or whatever. And he said, okay, well, he said what they all say. Oh, there's big bread in Japan. And I'm just like, based off of what? And like, because he was talking about all the money that Murata's going to bring. And I was like, that's fine. But viewership, if it's free, doesn't actually translate to dollars. That's why network. That's why in the United States, movie stars make more than people on Law and Order, despite the fact that Law and Order's been on for 20 years because it's on free television. So just because 50 million people or 60 million people gonna watch it doesn't mean that's gonna translate into viewership dollars, especially considering the conversion rates between Japanese. Hopefully they're getting paid in American dollars, but especially when you account for the conversion rates in addition to what the payment system is going to be like. So we don't know the pay-per-view schedule, we don't know the splits, we don't know who's getting what. So what gives you the idea that Triple G is going to make more bread talking about 120 or 150 or however many millions of dollars in Japan versus against Charlo? It's like, what are you basing that off of?
Also, to D-Hive, Junebug, it's hard for me to really talk boxing because the majority don't know nothing about it. Nothing. Just like the brother King said in the chat. You know what I'm saying, D-Hive? They don't know nothing about boxing, and then you got to have a discussion with them. And a person that might be 18 or 14 or 20 tells you what the money situation looks like in another country. And you know what I'm saying? Because they going off of what they heard somebody else say. So how are you an expert and all you talk is something you hear somebody else say?
Right. And then also they keep talking like it just makes me mad. Like they try to get us to care about the sperm weight divisions in foreign boxing, talking about all this money. I'm like, okay, you talk about all this money, cool. Why the fuck isn't Chocolatito like a gajillionaire then? Because nobody cares about that shit. Nobody cares. And it's okay for us not to care. We don't have to care about foreign boxers. They don't go to other countries. They don't go to Eastern Europe or the Japanese fans or any other fans and tell them to give a fuck about American boxing because American boxing is relevant. But you got fucking black people getting on our ass talking about we need to respect all these little ass fighters that nobody's ever heard of. Man, fuck you. Ain't nobody. I don't care.
Yeah. The good brother VB go real hard with me over on Nika. Shout out to Nika on her show. He be going hard about all the little fighters and then start naming little guys that nobody knows or little guys that got 6 or 7 losses. And just going crazy over these guys. And you're right, man. America is one of the only place where you have people that will argue you down that you supposed to cheer for folks in another country. You know what I'm saying? And also sometimes they be mediocre. Now, you know what I'm saying? In the Olympics or in the World Championships that just happened in the track and field, do the American fans be cheering for the Jamaicans to win a race?
Well,
I can answer for you. No. Now, if they do something astronomical like break a world record, everybody stands up for that. but they're not cheering for the Italy team. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny you said that because if you look deeper, you would be surprised how how many American fans was rooting for Usain Bolts or just
Oh
about
yeah. Usain Bolt, yeah, that's
or
a
even
massive
recently
star at that
or
time.
or even recently Shelley Frazier and Price.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm gonna say this about what you said about the fella. It goes to show you how those people, they will talk boxing sometime with us or some about our fighters, but how lowly they respect us. As far as
Mm-hmm.
you're down here and they're up there and stuff like that. But
Right,
like I say,
by
and
saying
none
who
of the,
can get in and
yeah,
ask questions.
like I say, none of that stuff makes sense what they're talking about. But it's almost like this side here is gonna always be the right side to me, no matter what you tell me. Even though the money is over here in America, or even though the better fighter is over here. But guess what? I'm this, they're that, so that is what I'm gonna ride for. So, and it's simple as that. You can't explain it no other way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just get annoyed because I'm just like, you realize that even the people that you're defending, the rest of the world doesn't care about them either, or else
Right,
the sales would match. It's just like you talk about Terrence Crawford's popular, the sales don't match.
right,
Clearly, people don't like him for whatever reason, and that's
right.
unfortunate. But it's just like when look, because people gonna forget this. Y'all remember when Crawford fans got together and said we will boycott Errol Spence's next pay per view if it's not Terrence Crawford?
Yeah,
Right.
that was just recently.
Yeah,
That was a few months
Mm-hmm.
ago. I remember.
yeah. No, no, I know we remember. I'm talking about the people who pretend they're not gonna remember. But yeah,
Right.
shit like that is why a lot of the public is just scared to ride with Bud because they don't want to be
They
equated
got
with
that from
dumbass.
Bomac. Remember, Bomac said that he was gonna stream the fight.
Right, and that's why Bud's fan base suffers because people don't want to be associated with that kind of fucking madness.
And
Like
it's
what?
crazy.
Like what is that?
It's
I bought all of Bud's pay per views even though I didn't
and
want
I
to
was
see
just about to
half
say
of
that.
them.
And it's two people that I asked it, not running, but it's two people I asked it that ride for Bud like that. And I asked them about it. And they admitted their own self that they didn't even buy Bud's last two fights. They didn't buy Bud versus Sean Porter.
They
And I'm like,
streamed it.
how you riding for him like that, but you didn't even
You streamed it.
you didn't
Exactly.
even and it's another topic, like I said, I don't know, I DM Julius and get into it more. But even so, you have like what you have called those race soldiers, right? But with
Mm-hmm.
the fellow that we're talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
also in those race soldiers, like I said, if you want me to DM you, I can talk about this more with you and bring it to your attention. I won't say no names or get too much into it. But
Okay.
you also have race soldiers that are those spooked by the door type of people. And I've seen a few of them that are look just like me and you, Julius, or whatever, but they're race soldiers for the other. And on their platform, all they talk about is Al Heyman this, Al Heyman that,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and you will sit up there and say, "Bruh, how?" But at the same time, well, pro black in this scene is here, but the whole time all their show now is based on is
Mm-hmm.
bashing black fighters, black
And
this,
black
black this,
people.
black
And black
black
people.
black
Yeah.
people. But then say you need to be supporting black people like me and things like that because I'm the troop
Mm-hmm.
leader and things like that. I'm making movies and things like this, but
Mm.
bashing
Mm-hmm.
black people and to the point to where my
Mm-hmm.
whole thing is you can't
Oh,
be
we
so
know who you're
pro.
talking about.
You can't be so pro black as where I'm from. And with the people that I looked up to and the Malcolm and all that I knew, when you scream you this pro black, guess what? You was pro black from all the way through. From the type of businesses that you went to the type of woman that you had kids by. So you know what I'm saying? You got to
Mm-hmm.
be you have those kind of race soldiers too.
And it's crazy and it's absolutely insane that you say that because it's crazy how so-called pro-black boxing fans will give straight up racists a pass as long as they support Terrence Crawford.
Oh.
That shit is fucking nuts. And also I'm gonna keep it 100. I know he's not here anymore, but Art Man for the most part earned his hatred from being pro-black. So if you claim that you're pro-black but you're anti-Art Man, I am looking at you sideways. Because what else is Art Man hated for?
Yeah.
What else is he hating for? So I'm like, if you claim that you're pro-black, but you're constantly attacking Art Man for whatever he said or whatever, I'm looking at you sideways because you don't make any sense.
Well, the thing is, man, is that when I say, you know, my whatever, I don't even consider it pro black, but that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just consider it me talking, for my people. So I guess it is pro black. But I'll say this, it's a way of life for me. You get what I'm saying? It's just a way of life that I can't even have a name for it. And trust me, that thing, if I was another way, instead of having 30 viewers or 40 viewers, I have 4,000 or four, you know what I'm saying? 400,000, 40,000, because it's not popular for black people to speak well about black people. When it was a story that somebody told me one time. Y'all tell me if this story sounds familiar. When a person was talking about being pro-black one time, right? He had a good little following, but as soon as he started making documentaries down in Black Heroes, he all of a sudden, you know, got money for a movie, got this, got that. So I'm just saying, man, y'all ever seen that story before? Y'all ever heard that story before? So it's more popular for people to come out and be that guy, and that's what I call him. I call him that guy that will speak bad in regards to their own people to uplift someone else. And facts, Ronnie Bravo, I get what you're saying. Somebody told him that a Mexican guy tried to convince him Shakur was the weight bully against Valdez, a guy that needed steroids to make weight.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's call it like it is. You know what I'm saying? He didn't, and to get an advantage. So, man, I just let the old people talk, man, because like I told y'all, it's very, very difficult to talk boxing, life, or anything. You get what I'm saying? And that's the good thing, you know what I'm saying? Even about Art Man, me and Art Man has always got along because I like the way that the brother think. But whenever you think the way that I do or he do or like us, we're always a target. We're going to always be a target, and we're going to be a bigger target to our own people because some of them are going to feel like, man, you talking the way you do, bro, you making it hard for me. You making it hard for me out here in the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Because now everybody think that I think the way you do. You know what I'm saying? I've had somebody say that to me.
I just find it funny because I'm like, unless y'all are translating these little Twitter deals, these little Twitter spaces into actual dollars, you really ain't doing shit. But it's like it's like a recreational activity because a lot of the spaces or a lot of the people that originally got popular, they were first talking that pro black shit. Then the moment they got a little teensy weensy bit of exposure to a few promoters and a few journalists, all of a sudden it's all boxers matter and we got to talk about it. I was like, oh, okay, so that was fast.
That was fast.
It took you no time.
Well, like Julius say, is it's popular to go that route to start off as a pro-black and supporting your people until they get into your pocket and see, okay, you got quite a bit of following and things like that, and morph you into and say, well, hey, I want you to do your thing and stuff like that, and then they come to, well, you know what? All of them ain't bad, and they start, like you say, morphing and changing and things like that. And they tone is changing before you know it. The next thing you waiting on them now is to bleach the skin, because you can't tell the difference in their voice now.
Yeah,
I mean, the way they talk now, but and it sickens me because, like I said, I've calmed down on a lot of things that I talk to now on Twitter. Because at first I enjoyed the boxing talk and I didn't mind debating anybody, but from seeing some of the stuff that they say now and being a black man that was born and raised and lived in a place like Mississippi. I say when you from places like that, you have a PhD on this type of talk here.
Oh, 100%, boy.
because of the people that you grew up with, around, and everything, and your older family members. So you have a PhD, so you can get real deep when you talk about how this type of stuff goes. So it gets to the point to now where you like, some of it ain't even worth talking to or talking to some of these dudes about. You just look at it and shake your head, man, and just realize, hey, it's a waste of breath talking with some of these people.
Hey, and brother, let me tell you something, man. And and like you say, and D-High would know a little bit about this when you start talking about having a PhD and talk like this. Being from Mississippi, you being from North Carolina, me, we done seen this game a million times. We done seen brothers like whatever, like the one we talking about right now that that morphed into that. We done seen them do that their entire life. We done seen how we can explain something to someone, and as soon as somebody white tell them, they'll come back to you and say, Junebug, D-High, man, Mr. Charlie told me the so-and-so, the same thing you said. And he'll say, man, that's a great idea. I done had that happen so many times, man. And it was a debate going on. I don't know if it was a debate or what, but somebody that was on Tariq Nasheed page has sent out something about, black people from the South built Detroit, a major city. And that I would attribute that to the brothers and sisters from Mississippi that moved out to Chicago and Detroit from Mississippi. But see, you don't know that unless you just from the South. You know stuff like that. See what I'm saying? But I said something else to them. I said black folks from the South built every major city. You know what I'm saying? Even if you go out there to LA, where you from, D-Hive, I'm pretty sure you got some family in Mississippi or Tennessee.
All of my family, like their base history is exclusively from Georgia and Alabama.
Absolutely. You know why? They went out to them shipyards out there in California and got them jobs, man. And look, man, but that's the thing. So, it's hard to talk that kind of talk because people don't have the love for that stuff, man. They don't have the love for it. They just talk the talk when it's
knowledge.
Or they don't have the knowledge either. Exactly. And I get up there and I like to hear D-Hive talk because, you know what I'm saying, I could just feel the intelligence in D-Hive, and it ain't because D-Hive pronounces words correctly or nothing, but it's because he got knowledge on a lot of different subjects and a lot of different things. And a guy like D-Hive intimidates guys. I've seen people be on live. D-Hive start talking, they'll go off.
And it's weird because, like, I remember I was in a situation where I was on Art Man Show and we were talking about this fucking lady and her kid or whatever. And I didn't know about the kid situation until the day of, but people were clowning me because I was talking to her respectfully. And I'm like, so the thing is, I was doomed either way. If I had called her a bitch or whatever, people would have said I was a bad person. If I had spoken to her respectfully, people said I was a coward. I'm like, the good thing is I don't care about none of y'all. But the point is, I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I don't mind disagreements as long as they're based in fact. But when you're talking to like you guys talk about Ronnie Boy, when he went on Art Man Show and defended Bob Arum for 2 hours, a lot of the shit he said was just fucking unconfirmed. Like
I didn't know he did that.
Oh my god! Like I gotta link y'all to the stream because it was him and his little nephew or helper or his little gay boyfriend, whatever that dude is. I forget his name. His name is like E-Waste or some shit. Yeah. But they were on there, and I'm like, a lot of the shit y'all saying, nobody can confirm but y'all. You're saying this person got a contract and turned it down. This person was here at this fight, and I was talking to him. I'm just like, who the fuck are y'all to be getting inside information? What do people that have real life influence in the industry get from telling you dipshit anything? Yeah.
Hey, look, man, it's like anything else. We can meet a star on the street tomorrow. And the reason I say this is because these are things that happen. Like it's confirmed if Leonard Ellerby walked in the same room with me and him gonna have a conversation because we know each other from way back, right? But I can use that and say, man, I talked to Leonard about Tank, and Tank said, and Leonard told me that Tank gonna fight in November 23rd or somewhere around there. Da 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 da. Who's to say Leonard told me the truth? Leonard might just say what I wanted to hear. Hey, Leonard, what's going on? When you coming back? Like a guy that writes, you know what I'm saying? He be doing a lot of theories on different fights and who he want in the rankings and stuff like that on Twitter, right? And I told this guy that Rashid Warren told me that he gonna fight in late August or September, right? The dude told me, drop a name. Drop a source. I said the source was Rashid Warren told me because I asked him on Twitter, you know, I mean, I can go back and show you the tweet. I just said, hey, brother, when you're fighting. So all I'm saying that to say this, fighters or promoters or managers or basketball players, people that we see, movie stars, we could ask them any question. They could just tell us anything. They're not at liberty to tell us anything like for real. They can lie. Like, what you gonna do if they lie?
And like D-Hive said, and they say, and you said, y'all basically can pick it back off each other. And you can tell it, like you said, he can tell you anything. And like D-Hive say, who are you for them to tell you something anyway? You know,
right.
Right. I told Ronnie Boy this and that, so that I know he knows, or you know what I'm saying, Ronnie was a good source. Let him know. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna put it out to the people.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I'm not trying to keep on saying that brother's name to try to do no bashing, but I'm just gonna, like my granddad used to always say, tell the truth, shame the devil. So
yeah,
I don't believe in that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm like, bro, with all due respect, if some of us think that you're a little bit, you know, like a few screws loose, 9 times out of 10, other industry professionals, other industry professionals are gonna know that you run your fucking mouth all day. Hold
up. I'm trying not to laugh, but you saying that somebody, I don't even know who we talking about right now, but you saying that you can tell that this person got some loose screws. So if they go to someone, they might just tell them anything because they could say, oh, that boy ain't right.
But the thing is, Julius,
okay,
that's what I would do if I'm an industry professional and I know there are a few talking heads that run their mouth all day and I needed to distract the public. I would intentionally leak them information so they could fucking talk. It's an old strategy.
Yeah, that's
right. It happens all the time. You're right.
It's an old strategy.
It's just like when Bernie the boxer come up with some inside information. They tell him because he's an idiot and he's gonna go spread it.
Right.
It's funny you said that because that person on that show today mentioned and say that's where the source came from. Bernie about the 80-20.
My point. Thank you.
It's funny you said that because that's what that person said on their channel today.
Hey, and I'll tell you another one, man. And I'm gonna say the guy name his first name start with an R, Rick, but he's a bona fide race soldier. He's a bona fide race soldier and liar and convicted felon. I ain't holding him down on the convicted felon part because that could happen to anybody. But I'm just speaking on the things that he will say about people, okay? Mm-hmm. And one of the guys that we were talking about earlier, the gentleman on the beach with the shades, they talk a lot. And that's why I tell people, man, race soldiers gonna talk to other fellow race soldiers. And why do we want to validate these people? We need to eliminate them. One thing that Art Man said that he wasn't right, in my opinion, and I would tell him if he was here, is that he said that we shouldn't make, why should we care? We should care because we want to eliminate them. Whenever it's us, they have no problem eliminating us from conversations, just from anything. They have no issues, no problem whatsoever. But with them, we just have to the best way is to ignore them. Nah, the best way is to eliminate them.
And it's funny you said it because a lot of stuff comes full circle. And I don't even think you know how hard you're preaching because that same person started with an R was on this other guy's show that we were talking about as well.
Didn't even know.
He stopped by his show I think like twice a
See?
while too.
Yeah, a bona fide. And how can you as a black guy? And I remember because the guy with the R came right on his show and said something about my wife. My black wife gonna be fixing some black eyed peas and collards and black eyed peas, watermelon or something. But that's what he deserved. That's what whoever heard that deserved because these soldiers are the same, man. They're the same. And we should call them out. And not only call them out, we should call them out by name and eliminate them. And I'm not talking about kill them. I'm talking about eliminate them from discussions and to render them null and void.
And what's nuts and what's nuts about this is now let's keep it 100. I see you dudes. I know a lot of you bitch dudes are auditioning for some jobs and trying to get a little bit of power. And my thing is, do y'all think y'all really gonna get rewarded with some legitimate influence where y'all actually might be able to say something for real? Do you think that people like Rick and Coppinger and Mannix are gonna fucking take your application and hire you? No,
absolutely not.
They're gonna keep you right where you at, running your mouth, running your Twitter fingers, repeating after them with the hopes like a carrot on a goddamn string. And you will, in 10 years from now, you will have accomplished nothing. And
nothing.
And the only thing that they're gonna put on your tombstone is nigga that says some shit on Twitter one time.
That nobody heard.
Yeah, you pathetic pricks. It's obscene.
Yup.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, man. D-Hive, but one thing we're gonna end up debating right now. Some comments that you made today, good brother, about the Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason. First of all, let me say this. I respect the Mason brothers and the Davis brothers. Both of them can fight. And I'm talking about not just Keyshawn, but I'm talking about Kelvin, and I'm talking about Mason and his brothers. Now, Abdullah Mason, the one that you talking about, fighting Keyshawn, is the best of the brothers, okay? And Keyshawn is the best of the Davis brothers. And I think Abdullah's what, 5-0, 4-0?
I think he's 3-0.
3-0, and Davis is 5-0.
Right.
But I feel like they're at two different levels of their career because Davis is getting ready to fight 8s and 10s, where Mason, he hasn't even fought anyone yet that could get out in the first round, so they're not going to be moving him to an 8 or 10 round fight right now. But I feel that in about 2 years, because I think that next year, I think that Keyshawn is going to fight for a lightweight title by next year. And I think that Abdullah is a 2024 guy. I just do. I can't see them, Top Rank or any promoter, move a guy that you think is the goods. So I can see two prospects. We see two prospects fight all the time because you're trying to decide what do we have? Can this guy fight or that guy fight? Like, we tired of wasting our money. But Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis, you're not going to do that because you know that they're the goods. You know from the amateur experience, you know from the way they turn pro that these guys are going to be fighting. And like Keyshawn Davis said today when they had the press conference, after the press conference, he said, listen, when me and Bob Arum had our meeting for me to sign with Top Rank, I said to Bob Arum on day one, I want to fight Vasily Lomachenko before he retires. So they know that Keyshawn is serious about fighting Lomachenko, and they know that he can fight. So they are not going to throw him and Mason in at any point until both of them have finished developing and then fighting. Now, I agree with you, D-Hive, that you don't have to try to make that into a super fight. That could be a first title defense for one of them two fighters.
Well, the way I was looking at it is because I'm not gonna lie. Whenever someone gets hype immediately at the amateurs, I get a little irritated, and it's not even because that they're being respected as a quality fighter. It's just because like they're talking about how Keyshawn and people like Andy Cruz win all these fantasy matches, and I'm just like, wait. They're like 5-0, 3-0, and then I see someone like Abdullah Mason, and I'm like, okay, well, shit. If Keyshawn is really this and really that, and also we also have to be aware that the optics, people like Keyshawn, people like Shakur are really close with Terrence Crawford. And those psychopaths just extend anything Terrence Crawford related onto those two, and it makes me mad because they make it seem like nobody in the world can challenge them at any weight class, blah blah blah, and that shit personally gets on my nerves.
And look, shout out Keyshawn and Shakur, both of them being Virginia guys. Even though Shakur was born in Newark, he's an Alexandria, Virginia native. But a lot of people don't like talk about that. I got you. And Keyshawn coming out of Norfolk, and we know what the goods that came out of Norfolk, Pernell Whitaker. But today he did disappoint me, D.I., and I must say that Keyshawn did disappoint me, although I love the brother, and I'm going to let you talk. But when he said that he couldn't see himself fighting Shakur because he couldn't see himself wanting to hurt his brother, and I was just thinking to myself, like, Jesus Christ, man, these guys got to realize that in boxing, you fighting your brother sometimes is you showing love to him and giving him a payday. But go ahead, D.I.
No, I mean, all I was gonna say is that somebody like Abdullah Mason, and if he's really everything that people talking about, somebody like Abdullah Mason should be easy work. I figured they're around the same point in their careers. They could scrap right now, recover, and then be on the same trajectory for the winner. And that's just how I feel. It's kind of like with Andy Cruz. Like people talking about Andy Cruz could do this, could do that. I'm like, okay, cool. So when he come out the amateurs and first get over here, his first 3 fights need to be Keyshawn in, so we could just get that question answered. Because Keyshawn got 5 fights, he'll have 0. Let him get 2 tune-ups and then just fight Keyshawn real quick and then get the shit answered. And people are like, oh well, he needs to adjust. And I'm like, man, fuck off.
No, people need to be careful about Andy Cruz because I'm gonna tell you something, man. A long history of Cuban fighters, Joe Casamayor, Rigan Dial, is he on that level? Because the amateurs from yesteryear and today are a lot different. Is Andy Cruz just a good amateur fighter that can't translate over to the pros? Because it's going to be a lot of different dynamics. Andy is going to be a free man, almost like he in slavery right now. He's going to be free. Is he going to be motivated to try to make it? Because he's going to be considering himself already made it. He gonna have money in his pocket. He never have been allowed to have no money.
And the thing
is he gonna, what happened to the other Cuban fighter that got beat early on in his career?
Which one?
The one that just lost, that lost his pro debut.
Oh, Ramezi Ramirez, the one that just knocked.
Yeah, Ramezi Ramirez. You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Well, that's the thing. They don't know, and they don't want to find out. That's why when I recommended, I was like, okay, cool. As soon as Andy Cruz get his ass over here, let him fight Keyshawn in his first 5 fights. Everyone was like, oh, well, hold on, we don't know. I'm like, what happened? You just said he whooped his ass in the amateurs. The amateurs was only a few years ago. Let's get it popping.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh, well, he got to adjust and eat some food because he in Cuba. I'm like, man,
food. Come on, man.
Yeah, they don't know.
They eat food in Cuba.
Exactly. They don't know. It just sounds good. Just like Lomachenko and all that 400 wins bullshit. And it didn't mean anything.
Hey, bro. See, that's again when you get in the conversation with people that don't know boxing, because I can bring up Lester Brown, check them up. Yeah, they need to be careful. Absolutely, Bravo. Pernell Whitaker, man, was like 290 something and 1. Mark Breland, if I ain't mistaken, won over 300 fights.
Yeah.
and won 100 of them by knockout
Yep.
and won a gold medal.
That's what I was just about to say. People consider Mark Brewer one of the best amateur
If
boxers.
not the greatest. He considered, Ray Leonard. I mean, look, man, it's, oh my God, it's so many top American, black American, you know what I'm saying? But they rather go talk about the European guy that nobody saw fight those 400 fights.
Because
But,
that's
yeah, go ahead.
media controls them to put that battery in their back to talk about those guys. And then what media do, media make you go against your own damn common sense. Well, you will know that, but it's like, man, I ain't lying. ESPN, man, Top Rank putting this boy out here almost every 3-4 months, man. He must be the real deal, man. He fighting, Johnny Jones this week, and then, man, then 3 months ago, man, he beat Taylor Smith, man. He the truth.
Right.
And so
Right.
they put that battery in their back, man. But Keyshawn said that, man, don't he realize in his trajectory that, man, unless Shakur's gonna always be in his way of greatness, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they write together, man. I just,
But
Shakur,
Shakur put the energy out there first, though. Shakur said, "Me and him not fighting because we're brothers, and we would need $150 million a piece to ever fight." I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Well, Zab Judah and Mayweather said that one time that they wouldn't fight, and they fought. I mean, come on, man. You got to fight. And fighting, I understand that fighting is hurt, but at the same time, though, man, I mean, you're doing an injustice to your own career if you don't take on the best talent and then say you fighting the best talent. And Ronnie Bravo says some race soldiers laying down every night with their non-black wife. And I guess he talking about the black race soldiers that you was talking about, Junebug.
And man, and you know what it is, man. You know what, man, Julius. And we ain't gonna spend too much time because we start talking about some action with boxing. But man, that character is so hilarious, man. When you look at his
Talking about
story.
Rick.
No, not him. The other, the one who showed Rick went on.
Oh, okay, yeah, oh yeah. His non-black, yes.
That's who Ronnie Bravo talking about when he say his non-black.
Yes, absolutely.
So that dude that went into politics.
Yes, he did. He did.
And you already know where I'm finna go, but we'll get back talking about. We ain't gonna waste no more time.
He from D-Hive community, man.
Wait, what?
I said that brother from your community, man. He from down your way, man.
And D-Hive, he said he runs your community. He makes more jobs for black people out there in their community.
Yeah, he is Southern California. You was in Southern California, right?
Is this a Mexican person?
No, black guy.
No, he stopped lying, Julius. He's Chinese. He's Asian, Julius. Stop.
Well,
That's crazy.
If he is Chinese, then that's not true because in their businesses they exclusively hire their own. So
Right.
So that's a straight up lie.
Right.
Sometimes through marriage, but anyway.
Yeah, through marriage.
Keyshawn Davis. Great future ahead of him.
Yes, sir, he do. And I want him. And sometimes I agree, man. Sometimes I want to get these fighters to the top quicker than what even they ready for. But at the same time, I don't think these guys need to wait till cause like I be hearing people talk about, well, Boots needs some more time. No, Boots don't. Boots don't need no more time. He either gonna win or he gonna lose. But the time is now. Gary Antoine, my man, that's fighting this Saturday against Bartholomew. After this fight, bro, if you get a fight with Regis Prograis, Matias, whoever, and it's for a world title, you got to take it right now. There is no more wait. When you're 25, 26 years old, man, it ain't no more wait. What are people waiting for? What are people talking about? You're 25 years old. You ready to fight. You 26 years old. You ready to fight. What are you waiting for?
Right. And
Bruce
that's
Ennis is 100% ready. If he get knocked out, he get knocked out. If he wins, he wins. But it's no more time to wait. And I'm talking like this. I can imagine how them guys feel because I personally, I would be going crazy. Al Heyman and all those guys, man, they would block my phone number because I'll be like calling them every day. I'm ready right now.
and that's all I'm trying to say. Like if Boots gets served up, he gets served up. But
It's
let's not.
served up.
Yeah,
And, see,
but
and I'm gonna say this because I agree with everything you said, and that's I agree with you Reddit too. And I was just funny that you brought him back because me and D have had like a 2 day debate one time on Twitter about maybe 3 months ago back here, and my thing was I agree, Boots is ready now, but what I was talking about where he's at in his division, this the only thing I was saying about that division is that he has only two people that has the belt, right?
Right.
And those two people don't benefit from fighting him at this time. He is ready, but those two people don't benefit from
Right.
fighting him at the time. And
Correct.
that's what I was telling D Hive at that time. To whereas in his situation, it seems like I don't know unless that fight's gonna be made. He's gonna be in a situation where he's gonna come up out the back end after they fight. There's a loser. Maybe they fight again, and one moves up to 54, or both move up to 54. But
Or they have
those
a
two,
rematch. Yeah.
yeah, but those two right now gets nothing from fighting Boots, even though Boots is ready, but they get nothing from fighting Boots.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all a scenario,
that's why
okay?
the only point where I disagreed is that if they don't fight each other, Boots is the next best option for both of them.
I agree.
Outside of maybe Thurman and Earl Spence.
Well, I would rather see Boots get an opportunity over Keith Thurman, but or Boots and Keith Thurman can fight. But I see this. Sometimes you have to make your own situation. So let's say Earl Spence and Bud Crawford gonna have a 2-fight thing with the belts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boots Ennis need to move up and challenge Charlo to a 154-pound undisputed fight. Because I seen, and people say, well, that don't happen. Yes, it do. Go back and look at Ray Leonard before he fought Thomas Hearns. He went up and won a 154-pound title. Not against no scrub either. So and then came back down to 47. So these things can happen, bro. I see Felix Trinidad waiting for a big fight at 147, go up to 154 and take a fight against a top contender. So these things have happened, but you got to be a fighter that's willing to go out there and make those fights happen. You can't be a fighter that's afraid of that opportunity. You got to sometimes make your opportunity.
My thing is though, that's less likely to happen than than an undisputed fight at welterweight because Charlo already said, first of all, Charlo is going to pull the same bullshit he pulled with Bud and Errol. He said, I can't fight Errol because he's my friend and Crawford hasn't done enough. Crawford has a belt at 147 and Boots don't have jack shit. If Boots try to come and knock at the door from Charlo, what you think he's going to say? He's going to be like, who is this?
Well,
I understand.
But with that situation, here's a difference. Like, so when you look at it, let's look at it from Earl and Charlo. Who do you think PBC and Al? Let's just say I don't think Earl's scared, but I think Al covered. He loves Earl more than he loves Charlo. Would y'all think so?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think Earl's more of his baby than Charlo, right? So I honestly think that when Mel may be in a situation to be forced to fight Boots in that situation because I don't think PBC is that high on Charlo that much anyway because of his mouth. So I think I'll see a situation where he say, hey, you move up to 54 and challenge him and I can get you over here. Just look at it. And this is your division now. Now they see dollar signs. So Mel has no choice but to fight him or move up. You see what I'm saying? So I think that can happen because of the potential. It's almost like in football. You have an old quarterback that's out the door, and you have this new hot shot that's coming up and stuff like that. Now, the fans and ownership is ready for this new guy to get in here and ride this wave for 10 years. So I
Mm.
think that's more likely to happen now because of if
Hey,
Boost, let's say Boost go in there and knock Earl off, that messes Al up for about years because that messes up him in the 147, and then that may hurt Earl when Earl decides to move up and help him make money at 54. So
mm.
I think I think that can happen.
And I would love to see it. But look, guys, we've been out here shooting for an hour and 33 minutes. We're gonna sign off here, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Look, I'm gonna come back later in the week. We're gonna talk about Gary Antoine Russell moving up and fighting. I'm not moving up in weight, but moving up as far as opponents to fight Bartholomew. And we're gonna touch on that and Danny Garcia, man.
All
All
right.
right, man.
Well, I
Well, take care.
appreciate you having me up, and y'all have a good evening.
Hey,
All
do
right,
the
man. You
same,
too.
brother. All right, Jumbo. Take care
All right,
now.
man.
All right.